Okay. Okay. That's the teacher in me.
All right, class.
Welcome. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples. Welcome to everyone here in the sanctuary, to those out on the pavilion, and to those watching at home or someplace else on Facebook Live. Whether you're here for the first time or have been a part of this congregation for many, many years, we're glad that you are here with us today. Is there anybody here for the first or second time?
Oh, wow.
Welcome. We invite you back there, and everybody else to join us for coffee and conversation out on the pavilion. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we embrace diversity in all its forms, working together to build a more just, inclusive, and loving world. We welcome people of every background, every belief, identity, and life experience, recognizing that our strength comes from our openness to one another. Here, there's no single path to truth, only the light that we bring to one another as we explore the mysteries of life together. Whether you're here in search of meaning, connection, or simply a moment of peace, know that you are welcome just as you are. And now Tony for his welcome and announcements.
Thank you, Patty. Here. Let's try this, just for the moment. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples. My name's Tony Fisher. I serve this congregation as minister, and I do so with joy, especially when I see all of you here on a Sunday morning. It gets pretty lonely here. Actually, it doesn't during the week. There's so much going on. It's great. There are a number of announcements this morning that I want to share with you. Today is the day that members and friends should have their pledges in for the coming fiscal year. This is really important because the finance team that builds our budget do so only on the pledges they have received. They're not going to guess what you might give or whether you'll give the same or different from last year. They will take what they have and they'll build the budget, which has great impact on a number of us here up front, of course, but also on the facilities and on the rest of the staff, on our ability to carry forward our mission into the community. So please, if you haven't returned your pledge, I'm sure there are cards available for you, but most quickly you can go down to the office and just let our administrator, Anna Riazzi, know that you'd like to pledge today. So the budgeting process has already begun, and so it's important that you get those in. Today, after the service, we have a great forum with Bertha Vasquez. Bertha has been here a number of years already. She is an award-winning science teacher and is here down in the RE wing this morning, the religious education wing, to work with our kids. They're doing some experiments. They're probably finding out about scientific principles. And she'll be with us after the service right here in the sanctuary for a forum where she'll be presenting her understandings of what's going on in the world of science today. Today at 2 o'clock, from right outside here, the bus to the vigil at the detention center leaves. If you haven't signed up, please do so. And you can go to, well, it's in the newsletter, so I just keep it there. Freedomvigils.org, you can find a link to the bus, registering for the buses. Next Sunday, we have a great service, first of all, and then in the afternoon, we have a great presentation by Daryl Davis, who is a wonderful speaker and a wonderful R&B and blues piano player. Daryl is known as the Klan Whisperer for convincing people that they should leave the Ku Klux Klan. The great race reconciliator, he's known as. So he'll be here next Sunday, both to play in the service and to present in the afternoon. There's tickets available for that. And there are tickets available for Progressive Voices, which is our popular lecture series. It starts a week from Wednesday. And you can buy either one ticket for one event or the series of 5 lectures that we're presenting this year. So look for that. And Jane, right up front. Great, thank you.
I'm really thrilled to be able to tell you today that our tickets are on sale for the 50th anniversary gala that will be held here on the pavilion on March 14th. It will be a sit-down dinner that St. Matthew's House is bringing to us, and there will be dancing. So come and have fun and enjoy, and especially celebrate all of the good things that we've done this year for the 50th anniversary. It's been terrific.
Thank you. Before we start our service with the prelude, and Sean has a little introduction that he's like to share with you.
Yeah, you let me talk last week, and yeah, there it goes. Goes right out the window. So I just wanted to tell you about why we chose this first piece. We selected this prelude because a recording of this piece by J.S. Bach is included in the Golden Records, the gold-plated copper phonograph records that were included as a sample of the sounds of the Earth and sent on both Voyager 1 and 2 spacecrafts. The records contain sounds and data selected to portray the diversity of life and cultures on Earth and are intended for any intelligent extraterrestrial life form who may find them. Carl Sagan and a panel of experts assembled 116 images and a variety of natural sounds, such as those made by surf, wind, thunder, and animals, including the songs of birds and whales. To this, they added spoken greetings in 55 ancient and modern languages, as well as recordings of music from around the world, including this piece. They are currently around 15 billion miles away from Earth, moving through interstellar space at around 35,000 miles an hour.
I would ask if it's your rendition of the prelude and see that it's 35 billion miles away. Sorry. Intricate and untraceable, weaving and interweaving, dark strand with light, designed beyond all spidery contrivance to link, not to entrap. Elation, grief, joy, contrition, entwined, shaking, changing, forever forming, transforming. All praise the great web of life. Please join me in the chalice lighting words you'll see on the screen. Grateful for this gift of life, we gather in community to celebrate the glories and the mysteries of this intricate world. And let's rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn. It's number 175 in the gray hymnal in the seat in front of you. The words will be on the screen.
We celebrate the web of life, its magnitude we sing, for we can see divinity in every living thing. A fragment of the perfect whole, its cactus and in quail, as much in tiny barnacle as in the great blue whale. Of ancient dreams we are the sum, our bones link stone to star, and bind our future worlds to come with worlds that were and are. Respect the water, land, and air, which give all creatures birth. Protect the lives of all that share the glory of the earth.
As I mentioned, award-winning science teacher Bertha Vasquez is working with our youth down the hall this morning, leading them through a few experiments and learning perhaps some principles of science. Having seen Bertha give her forum here a couple of times, I am looking forward to being here after the service at 11:30. Now, the first scientific principle I ever learned as a young student was Bernardi's Law. Does anybody know Bernardi's Law? No, because Bernardi was my 7th grade science teacher. You see, as my science teacher, and the law that he taught, and we learned early, was if you weren't prepared for class, that if you hadn't done your homework, you would feel the heat. Now, the first principle of Bernardi's Law was a simple expression of cause and effect. No homework resulted in a half-grade reduction on that portion of the overall grade for the class. And the second principle of Bernardi's Law actually carried greater immediate consequences. Lack of effort outside the classroom resulted in more effort inside the classroom. If there were chores to be done, messes to be cleaned up, that would be the work of those who hadn't done their homework. If being called on to erase the chalkboard, and chalkboard and not whiteboard, for example, didn't call attention to the fact that you had not done your homework, then Mr. Bernardi had another evil plot, which was to be sure that he asked frequent delinquent homework people the questions that he out loud in class. So he would pick on those folks who usually haven't done their homework, so everybody else knew that they hadn't done it. I was not the greatest student, but I actually liked Mr. Bernardi. He was tough, but he was also fun. And I think he was one of the few science teachers I ever had who inspired me to want to learn more. And now that's too bad in the period of the 1960s when science was really on the upswing and everybody was excited about the space program and everything that was going on. I actually never had a great science teacher until college after Mr. Bernardi in 7th grade. He would take us out on, he would have a night time trip out to the ballpark next to the school and do stargazing, see the planets through the telescope. And he would occasionally get us all riled up by holding spelling bees in the class, science bees in the class. Now, I was inspired by many things, including Mr. Bernardi, and my own walks in nature and watching Walt Disney Wonderful World of Color when they did the nature shows, which is, really, they were incredible at that time. It was a beautiful sort of blending of the teachings of science with an understanding of the awe and wonder. And that's something that he carried into his class, his passion for the subject and his sense not only of the beauty and of the intricacies of the scientific world, but also the awe and wonder that it inspired both in him and as he communicated that to us. It made a great difference in that environment to learn and to appreciate science through those lenses, all of those lenses, the whole holistic lens. In our Unitarian Universalist tradition, we are counseled to heed the guidance of reason and the results of science. This doesn't mean we have to lose our sense of mystery and wonder at what we experience, but we do believe that a religious perspective, a religious worldview must in fact be compatible with the world of science. That's always not true necessarily for each one of us, but I think in general we all sense that science is an important piece of our lives and our society and our world. We can hold sometimes competing views in our own head, surprisingly enough. But for the most part, we trust the teachings of science. And I think, truly, far from reducing religion to something irrelevant, we believe that the wonders of the universe, known and unknown, lead us to a deeper reverence for life and a clearer understanding of our place in that interdependent web of all things. Let's remain seated and join together in singing our centering hymn, which is Find a Stillness. It's number 352 in your gray hymnal. The words will be on the screen.
Find a stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony. Seek the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, watch me flower, carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find a true harmony.
It's been a pretty difficult week for all of us, and especially those from Minnesota and Minneapolis, St. Paul. It's hard to really understand how we could be in this place with such violence in our streets that's perpetrated by officials of the government. And so I want to acknowledge that as we hold in our thoughts and our hearts the families of those who have been killed and injured, those who are trying to live a life and having to hide away from our government. It is extremely difficult for all of us. And acknowledging that, and all the struggles that are going on in the world, we also know that here in this room, we each have our own joys and sorrows that we're holding. I asked people coming in this morning how they're doing, and the answer is good and bad. And that's what we all go through every week. There's good and there's bad. There's things that lift us up and things that really trouble us. So this is our time as a community to share with one another either a milestone, something that's really you'd like to share in terms of a sorrow with the congregation. Not so much anything political in this moment, but gratitude for a joy. So if you have something you'd like to share, raise your hand. I'll bring you the microphone and tell us briefly what's in your heart. I'm going to work our way around this way. So please, if I go this way and you want to speak, then don't hesitate to raise your hand now. Oh, that wasn't you? No, okay.
My name is Lance.
Yeah, let me turn that on. Sorry.
Thank you, Tony. My name is Lance, and I have a sorrow. And the story is my wife and I have really the joy of having dual citizenship. And over Christmas in Houston, I applied for the renewal of my Dutch passport. And normally that happens every 10 years, and it's not a big deal. This year, my first thought was, well, this is my plan B if we have to leave this country.
I'm going to go this way.
Good morning. I'm Ellen. I have such joy in my heart that wanted to thank people from this congregation for helping us carry the Naples Pride banner in the Martin Luther King Day Parade, which was such a success this year. And some of you showed up on Wednesday when we applied for our Pride permit, and some of you showed up last night, thank you, Tony, at the Naples Pride Gala, which was a big success. Queer people are finding it increasingly hard to be out in public and feel okay and welcome and safe. And this congregation has given us a lot of support, so thank you.
Good morning. I'm Diane Keys. I just want to say how grateful I am to everyone that participated in the parade. This was my 12th year as the chair, and it's so amazing when I run out on the sidelines because I'm busy in the park. I never really get to see the parade. And to see our congregation come out in such great numbers, thank you, thank you, thank you. We truly appreciate you for doing that. And as of Friday, I retired from my day job. So that only means more volunteering for me.
Good morning, Vincent Keys. I am saddened, of course, by what's going on, but I'm very much reminded of the terror that we can inflict among our own U.S. citizens. And so this morning, I was thinking of that era of our masked and hooded men who terrorized my community for years. And so Minneapolis, I'm feeling the pain for them. I think about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and other places, particularly right here in Florida, Rosewood, who was also terrorized, and people had to run for their lives. So it is a sad, sad day.
Thank you, Vincent. Thanks, Diane.
Yes, my name is Georgia Hopeful, and I would like to invite you to the Baker Museum to see a stunning, absolutely stunning glass collection that is now there. And all 3 floors are open at this time, so don't miss it. And the other thing I'd like to say is call your congressman and give him hell.
Thank you, John. Good morning, Bill from Hospitality. I just want to let you know that during season, the setup outside will be a little different. The first table will be your coffee, your second table will be your teas and creamers, and we'll have a third table full of the food. However, this particular Sunday, we have a lot of fresh fruit that really needs to be eaten, and 4 big trays of food. So if you feel like you want seconds, please help yourself. Thank you.
That's a joy.
I'm Ralph Ryback, and I want to be grateful for my wife recovering from a painful surgery and disappointing the surgeon that I didn't want my left rotator cuff or my right biceps insertion that was torn to be repaired.
Our best to Lucy then. All right, we're moving on to this side of the room. Anybody over here? Michael.
Well, I have a joy. I'm Michael Finkel. I have a joy from the Martin Luther King Parade. And that was where I learned that 2 20-something young people are going to be running for the nonpartisan school board. And I was told that they said, it's time our generation stood up. Hallelujah.
I just want to say that, I find it very scary right now in the United States, and I'm so happy to be able to come here on Sunday. It's such a joy. It is a joy, but it's also like a safety place, and it feels so good.
Thank you. Well, the world is all about politics, so I guess it's hard to keep that out of our joys and sorrows. The great joy was that 90 of us marched together and sang together and chanted together in the Martin Luther King Jr. Parade with our yellow shirts and whatever else. So it was a great time. And there were more in the park, as Diane said. There were a number of us working a booth in the park. So we were well represented on MLK Day. Please join me in the spirit of meditation. Spirit of life, God of our deepest understanding, in the web of life that binds us together, truth manifests in many threads. It is the foundation of trust and honesty that strengthens bonds. It rests in the facts that guide us and the wisdom to know how to use those facts. It is the authenticity that defines us and the ground from which true growth emerges. Yet we also acknowledge that absolute truth, if there be such a thing, may forever remain shrouded in mystery and wonder. Yet we can still strive to be a beacon of truth, of hope, of love, and of justice as long as we stay humble in the face of all we do not know. Let us pursue truth in its diverse forms, embracing the humility to seek, the courage to question, and the grace to love. Let's share some silence together.
Right after that, we have a reading called One Continuous Song, which is perfect. Informed by science and the traditions of her indigenous heritage, author Sherry Mitchell invites us to attend to the stories of our own creation. Sherry is a Penobscot lawyer, author, teacher, and activist who lives in Maine. Our origination stories begin in the stars. It is from the radiance of that star of stardust that we were born, and the great migration of souls first began. When we come into this universe, we are born into our very first ecosystem, our mother's womb. There, we're nurtured and sustained through an umbilical connection to the body of our birth mother. When we're born into the world, our umbilical connection is transferred from the birth mother to the earth mother. Our umbilical connection with the earth mother then nurtures and sustains us for the remainder of our human lives. And I don't think I have to do anything that rhymes with birth mother in the rest of this piece. Though we have migrated at a great distance, the radiance of that stardust still resonates within us. It's the essence of something indescribable that's etched upon our souls. It stirs something deep within us. This stirring is a call to recognition, of remembrance. It continuously reminds us that we're infinitely connected to one another, to the natural world, and to a unified divine source. Evidence of our shared origin can be found all around us. Science has finally caught up with what we've always known, that we are all related. We are all made of the same foundational elements. It is simply the arrangement of those elements that gives distinct form to what we see before us. We share DNA with every other living thing. Approximately 98% of our DNA is shared with primates, and about 35% is shared with plants. I was surprised by that one. We all come from the same originating source, and we all comprise the same foundational elements. We are part of a universe, a collection of individual notes in one continuous song, the song that sang all life into being. This song is the drone of the musical universe. It is the foundation upon which all structure is built. If we listen closely, we can hear this creation song echoing in our bones.
Most of us have wondered how the universe began. Some claim a cosmic accident, some say a holy plan. The facts alone will never fill the hunger of our hearts. We long to comprehend this world of which we are a part. With parable and metaphor, the ancient tales are told. As we listen, all the wisdom of the past unfolds. A myth is humankind's response to boundless mystery. Each story bears a seed of truth disguised as poetry. People from the islands say the world began with waves. People near the sun say it was light their God first gave. Many souls in every age who tried to understand found comfort in believing we were made by loving hands. With parable and metaphor, the ancient tales are told. As we listen, all the wisdom of the past unfolds. A myth is humankind's response to boundless mystery. Each story bears a seed of truth disguised as poetry. When children ask their questions, they deserve to hear the truth. So we must find a way to make the oldest stories new. And they need time to wonder, time to question on their own. For there are many answers they can only find alone. With parable and metaphor, the ancient tales are told. As we listen, all the wisdom of the past unfolds. A myth is humankind's response to boundless mystery. Each story bears a seed of truth disguised as poetry. Each story bears a seed of truth disguised as poetry.
The third principle of Bernardi's Law was that things are not always as they seem. Mr. Bernardi didn't include too many true and false questions in his science bees, but every once in a while he threw one in. And we eventually learned that it was important to listen carefully to these true or false statements and think before answering, because something can sound like it makes sense, especially if a part of it is true, and even more so when it's spoken with confidence, and the whole thing may fall apart if you look at it closely. Truth refers to the accurate correspondence between what you or I might claim to be true and the reality of our statements, and the reality our statements represents. Truth encompasses factual correctness, but it also encompasses sincerity and authenticity, while also acknowledging that truth can be subjective, contextual, and sometimes elusive. Truth seeks to reflect reality as closely as possible, considering evidence and experience. Truth matters. The service today was inspired by a clergy letter that goes out regularly, and every January they sponsor or at least support the idea of giving a service on science and religion. So that's where Truth Matters comes from. That's the theme this year. And of course, they give you a few resources, but it's very broad, and I never found anything in the resources that sounded very interesting to share, so that leads me to make something up, right? So is it truth or is it falsehood? I don't know. But why does truth matter? I think it's the foundation of both honesty and trust. Truth represents reality and facts, and being honest means representing truth accurately. Trust, on the one hand, is the belief in the honesty and reliability of someone or something because they consistently tell the truth. And that starts with the self. Maintaining the habit of truth-telling and reliability not only builds an internal sense of integrity and self-respect, but it leads to a perception in others that you are trustworthy. Balancing honesty with empathy in personal interactions allows for the development of stronger bonds, stronger relationships with those we interact with. And as we grow and continue to seek the truth for its own sake, we take joy in following our curiosity and learning more and more about this world. We've unfortunately seen what the breakdown of trust and truth-telling can do to a society where trustworthiness is an important component of maintaining our individual liberty and social harmony, not to mention the importance of truth to creating a just and civil society. We need the truth to make informed choices and understand consequences. We need to know the truth about our history so we can address wrongs and not make the same mistakes. We need to be able to navigate our way through deception and falsehoods in a digital age where we cannot count on everything we read or hear to be true. Thank you, Mr. Bernardi. And speaking of Mr. Bernardi and science, the importance of the role of accuracy in research and discovery and the role of the scientific method to ensure that an idea is vetted before it is disseminated as truth is so critical. And because partisan messaging can have such a profound impact on public attitudes, effective communication of new scientific understandings is a must. But we see that all muddled in these days. It's not just the facts that are being questioned, but under the guise of alternative views, trustworthiness of the whole scientific community is being questioned by people who see science and unbounded curiosity as a threat to what amounts to a very narrow worldview. Or I should say narrow worldviews, for I see actually two separate but politically aligned threats to science, two different worldviews. The first is a fundamentalist religious view, which sees science as a threat to a way of life that revolves around patriarchy and control. This worldview also benefits from the widespread belief that the world is becoming too complex, too hard to navigate. Folks long for a world where there are straightforward rules and we don't have to learn so much. A second worldview is that of the fossil fuel industry, which is desperate to debunk any ideas about human-based global warming, even as they continue to foul the earth. And these two worldviews are working very hard right now to undermine a long-standing trust in science and that it will provide answers to allow us to thrive into the future. The fossil fuel industry spends billions of dollars to sway politicians and the media, and the religious right is doing the same in their attacks on public education. And for the moment, it's working. While most Americans respect science and see it as a positive force in society still, two Pew Research studies, 10 years apart, found that in 2015, 79% of respondents said that science had made life easier. But in early 2026, this month, the report came out that only 61% of Americans said science has had a mostly positive effect on society. This is pretty sad and dangerous. And the road ahead for those of us who would like to challenge these changes is difficult and involves supporting science in multiple ways through effective communication, motivating the scientific community itself to create a more viable, visible, and empathetic public face. It also requires a battle against disinformation to continue, which is the work of a united populace tired of the total freedom of online platforms that are being used by internal and external forces working to undermine our democracy. One truth that's working against science right now is what's known as the confirmation bias. A human being's very sense of self is intimately tied up with his or her identity group status and beliefs, so it's not surprising that people respond automatically and defensively to information that threatens the worldview of groups with which they identify. Our brains are not totally rational, but we're pretty good at rationalizing and selective assessment of evidence. Giving credit to expert testimony while finding reasons to reject the rest. I see our job as Unitarian Universalists to continue to promote the value of science in our lives and a worldview that combines the work of science and the wonders and the mysteries of this world. On Wednesday, this past Wednesday, we had a minister's workshop where we're talking about articulating our faiths and living our beliefs. And this was a workshop dedicated to sort of being able to articulate exactly what it is we believe in a number of different areas. And I brought those 7 questions up a number of weeks ago. They included questions about God and questions about humanity, about good and evil, about where we put our trust in information. So everybody was writing and trying to develop this, and we had a conversation about our view of the relationship between religion and science. And we had a number of people share that, and a few people in agreement that we absolutely felt that science and religion are fully compatible. If you think about the oneness of all things as being the framework from which you see the world, our interrelatedness, the interdependent web of all existence, which is now proven or being proved by science, that we are totally connected. We can maybe look at the Big Bang as a metaphor instead of a truth because we're not totally positive what happened back then, but that we came from a singularity and we have evolved into a tremendous diversity, and isn't that grand? So the idea that our tradition, for the most part, accepts and in fact encourages the use of our reason and of science and the discoveries of science. And this goes way back to the very beginning of Unitarianism in the early 1800s. It was clear that one of the differentiating factors of our tradition moving away from a more orthodox view was our dependence or our hope that we would use our God-given reason, at that time as was expressed that way, to analyze and criticize the realities of this world and to study and to learn and to grow and to continue to grow. So I see that as our role in this world in many ways, and our voices need to be lifted up. I want to share with you something I am going to share with the group, and something we're working toward is the expression of a belief, of sort of our own beliefs. This is a credo that I wrote a number of years ago now. But this is the kind of thing that if we are willing and are open to sharing our own understanding of how our worldview is formed, then we can begin to transmit that out into the world in many ways. I believe that the story of humankind is linked inseparably from the continuous unfolding of the universe, our galaxy, the earth, and all its creatures. It's a story filled with wonder and breathtaking beauty. It is also a story filled with the harsh realities of birth and death, of pain and loss, of hatred and denial, of reconciliation and rejuvenation. I believe that we've reached a point in our own evolution where we actually have influence as to how this story plays out. So we must strive to use all our faculties of mind and heart and hands to live each day as if it matters, to learn about this world and its creatures, to conserve and enlarge upon the heritage of values we have received, and transmit them to the next generation through positive action, tempered by humility. And we need to care for each other as if our own lives depended upon it, because they do. I try to live my values and practice gratitude. I understand that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a virtue that leads to an ever-deepening awareness that we are all one, that we need one another, and that we will only survive if we can find a better way to love.
We hope that the offering each week gives you an opportunity to express your gratitude for the richness, joy, and caring that this congregation provides. With every act of generosity, we support not only the growth of our own spirits, but also the many hands that reach outward, touching lives in our wider community with kindness, hope, and love. Together, as a congregation, we exist and thrive only in relation to the level of generosity we can muster. If you're watching Facebook Live or viewing later on our YouTube channel, we have 3 options for you. You can send your offering to the address on your screen. You can go to the website and use the donate button, or you can use the QR code on your screen. And now, this morning's offering will be gratefully received. Our ushers may come forward.
And now for something completely different. Just remember that you're standing on a planet that's evolving, revolving at 900 miles an hour. It's orbiting at 19 miles a second, so it's reckoned a sun that is the source of all our power. The sun and you and me and all the stars that we can see are moving at 1,000,000 miles a day on an outer spiral arm at 40,000 miles an hour in the galaxy we call the Milky Way. Our galaxy itself contains 100 billion stars. It's 100,000 light years side to side. It bulges in the middle, 16,000 light years thick, but out by us, it's just 3,000 light years wide. We're 30,000 light years from galactic central point. We go round every 200 million years. And our galaxy is only one of millions of billions in this amazing and expanding universe. Our universe itself keeps on expanding and expanding in all of the directions it can whiz. As fast as it can go, the speed of light, 12 million miles a minute, and that's the fastest speed there is. So remember when you're feeling very small and insecure, how amazingly unlikely is your birth. And pray that there's intelligent life somewhere up in space, 'cause there's bugger all down here on Earth.
Not much arm twisting there. I continue to believe passionately that science and religion are compatible. Each one of us may have a different sort of lean one way or the other, but we can still recognize that one approach is limited and needs the other, and we can rejoice in what they accomplish together. One meaning of Unitarianism is the belief that all that exists is ultimately one. Whatever form it takes, matter or energy, body and soul, mind and heart, all living and non-living things, deduction and intuition, emotion and intellect, love and reason, science and religion. We may prioritize our loyalties by the things we feel closest to, but then we use our reason to remember and be reminded that we are all one. Universalism entails a belief that everything belongs. Science has uncovered enough about genetics to show us that we belong within the human family, among primates, among all living things, among the stars. We are one so small and securely held by and connected with a vastness beyond our comprehension. But sometimes we feel very large and part of it all. We have to be ready to open our minds and hearts to change, to work, however convinced we are that that things won't change, we must work to make them different. Science and religion together reveal to us a world of wonder. They make us grateful to be part of it, even in the face of fear, pain, loss, and evil, also a part of it. So it is that our Unitarian poet minister Robert Terry Weston wrote at the end of a poem on evolution and the universe. This is the wonder of time. This is the marvel of space. Out of the stars swung the earth. Life upon earth rose to love. This is the marvel of life, rising to see and to know. Out of your heart cry wonder. Sing that we live. Let's join in singing our closing hymn, It Sounds Along the Ages. It's number 187 in the gray hymnal. Please rise as you're willing or able. We're singing it to a different tune, so the words on the screen will be better for you.
It sounds along the ages, soul answering to soul. It kindles on the pages of every Bible scroll. The psalmist heard and sang it, from martyr lips it broke, and prophet tongues outrang it, till sleeping nations woke. From Sinai's cliffs it echoed, it breathed from Buddha's tree. It charmed in Athens' market, it hallowed Galilee. The hammer stroke of Luther, the pilgrim's seaside prayer, the oracles of Concord, one holy word declare. It calls and lo, new justice, it speaks and lo, new truth, in ever nobler stature and unexhausted youth, forever on resounding and knowing not of time. Our laws but catch the music of its eternal chime.
Here's the truth. The earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. And here's another. All things are connected, like the blood that unites one family. We know we did not weave the web of life, but are merely a strand in it. And from that comes a hard truth. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. Go in peace, go in love. Have a wonderful day.